Sitting with Senator Michael Padilla. He is our featured Senator of the Week, along with Senator Souls. Senator Padilla, what district do you represent and where exactly?
Well, I'm very proud to represent New Mexico District 14. It's essentially the southwest quadrant of Bernalillo County. We have a historic area in New Mexico called the South Valley. All of that's in one district now. It's pretty exciting because before we had 3 senators trying to represent this one area, and now I'll be charged with representing the interests that are both agricultural, surrounded by a metro area, so that's a lot of challenge. We also have the Southwest Mesa, all the way out to the Rio Puerto line, and we have South Broadway, South 2nd, East San Jose, Adobe Acres, Pajarito, Los Padillas. I could go on and on. We have a really, really historical district here, and I'm very proud to represent those folks.
What is your experience in politics? Have you ever ran for office before?
You know, I ran one time before for state senate 4 years ago and lost a very tight one, and just was very committed to serving the people of New Mexico, so I ran again. However, I have worked on campaigns since I was 8 years old. My cousin, Clara Padilla Andrews, she was the Secretary of State back in the 80s when I was a little guy, and you know, we walked door to door for her, and then I kind of caught the bug, and I've worked every 2 years for Democrats across New Mexico, but more particularly in the Bernalillo County area.
Great. I know that you are a businessman. Can you tell me what being involved in the business realm, what experience does that bring to the legislature?
Well, I mean, I would call myself a moderate Democrat, and what I mean by that is I'm incredibly focused on social issues like early childhood education and intervention, our public schools and things of that nature, but I also want to reform our tax policy in New Mexico to make it more attractive for companies to consider relocating to New Mexico, bringing jobs, and helping to expand our economy. So I'm very excited about the committees that I wound up on. One is corporations and transportation. Being a businessman and owning my own business for about 23 or so years, I think I'm able to contribute there. And then my other committee is education, and it's just something that I'm very passionate about, the schools in my district, and really trying to help our children succeed from the earliest opportunity, which is why I'm focused on early childhood education.
You're a huge supporter of Senate Joint Resolution 3, the land grant distribution. Can you talk to us about some of your work that you've done on that specific legislation?
Well, you know, I started working on this 2 years before I was elected. I was coming to the legislature representing the business community and trying to help folks understand that really with early childhood education, we do a couple of things. I think we know that birth through 5 years are the most important years for a person's ability to learn. And so what it does is it intervenes in the home. It helps moms, first-time moms, truly helps with reading scores by the 3rd grade, dramatically improves math and science scores by the 8th grade. And you know, New Mexico, we have a real emergency here right now. We have a 46% dropout rate. And that's pretty serious. You know, if we are able to fund early childhood education and help these kids succeed all the way through the end, early childhood and the way that we're approaching it is going to reduce dropout rates by 75%. And that's really going to help our economy because companies will look differently at New Mexico, and they will understand that New Mexico has a strong workforce at that point.
Is there any other legislation you're proud to sponsor that you'd like to highlight at this point?
Yeah, there's a few things that are going on that are important to my district. Obviously, you know, water-related issues. I'm going to attempt to get to the bottom of what's going on with our water supply in the Middle Rio Grande Valley. Our farmers who've made a living, you know, this way. My family, we came to Los Padillas, you know, in the 1850s, 1860s, and it helped sustain our family for so many decades and over a century. So I want to understand how can we retain and optimize the water supply in the Middle Rio Grande Valley. So that's one. I've got a whole host of other things. We have a lot of rural farmers in my area that have a lot of animals, and so I'm actually very excited because today I believe one of my bills is going to come up actually on the floor. I'm one of the first senators this session to have a bill reach the floor. It's the Commercial Feed Act, and basically it's rewriting all of our laws on commercial feed for animals, that we feed animals, which in turn we feed to ourselves, and then the circle continues. And then there's also been, you know, quite an expansion of the pet food market, and so this is going to also help regulate those things as well.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate
it.